Howdy, folks. I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit.
Happy National Brian Day.
Amber's given me a present. She gave me papers to edit.
Yes,
Thanks, Amber.
right here. I also gave you your Super Silly Riddles book back.
She gave me my riddles book that I own. Our first letter is titled, "Will I be a jerk if I take a DNA test to prove my brother is a father?" This is a Dr. Phil moment, or was that Mr. Jerry Seinfeld? Where are we going with this? I'm a 25-year-old female,
You mean
and
Jerry Springer?
oh, Jerry. Yes, I did. I'm a 25-year-old female, and I don't have a great relationship with my family since moving out. Cliche stuff. My brother, 30, was the golden child, and I was a scapegoat, etc., etc. Anyways, that made for a rough relationship with them, and I really haven't spoken with them in 5 or 6 years. Well, a few weeks ago, I was contacted through Facebook by a woman who claims to be pregnant with my brother's child. The problem is he's refusing to claim said child and wants nothing to do with the mother. She told me that he has completely ghosted her and blocked her on everything. And apparently my mother has been quite hostile when she has stopped by to try and talk to him, and has threatened to call the police for trespassing if she comes around again. So, she tells me this and asks if I would be willing to do a DNA test after the baby is born so that she can take my brother to court. I told my husband about this in front of some of our friends, and one of them piped up and said that I shouldn't get involved with something that has nothing to do with me, and that it would be spiteful to do that to my brother. Well, you can see which one of your friends isn't a very good friend.
Mm-hmm.
My husband kind of agreed and said that I shouldn't get involved with my family again. What is wrong with your husband?
Yeah.
I'm honestly not sure. On one hand, I don't want to have any of my family contact me after doing a test, but on the other hand, I wouldn't want it to happen to me. My brother lives rent free and makes more than enough to buy a house. He should have enough and take responsibility for a child that he helped to create. The baby is due in a few months, so I have time to decide what I want to do. I'm leaning towards doing the test, but will I be the jerk? And update/explanation. The most common response and question I've gotten to this post is, why doesn't she just petition the court to do a paternity test? Well, I don't live in such a good area, and this kind of scenario happens all of the time here. The lawyers that she would be able to get have hundreds of these cases, and it will take years for her to have her day in court. She wants to have a shred of evidence to prove that my brother could be the father, so that it's more likely that she'll get a good lawyer to take a look at her case, or that my family will see that he is the father and come to some kind of arrangement with her. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk and do it.
I think everyone probably already knows my response here, just from my reaction. OP, I don't think that you're the jerk in this situation and you're not getting involved with your family. You're doing a simple request, right? Like, he could be the father, he might not be. And I think that you're doing this woman a great service by helping her out and doing something simple. Like, if he doesn't have a reason to believe that he's the father, then why isn't he being willing to take a DNA test on his own volition, right? So this is clearly a case of him trying to get out of his parental responsibilities, and I think that is a great detriment, and I think that's a great shame, and I don't think that he should be able to get away with this, especially since he's the golden child. This seems like the perfect, like, karma type situation, right? I wouldn't call this as you being petty and getting back at your brother as much as I would call this karma is coming to knock at his door and finally collect on all of his years of being the golden child and whatnot. So no, OP, you're not the jerk. Go for it. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Info, why does it have to be through you? If she wants to take him to court, then they'll get a DNA test result. I get that you want to have some kind of revenge, but what good is it this will do for you? You don't have any contact with your family. This will just make things worse, in my opinion. I mean, how can you be worse than no contact?
Yeah.
Alright, our next letter is titled, "Am I the jerk for labeling my drawers to end my mother-in-law's confusion?" So I have a really sweet mother-in-law, dear husband's mom, and we get along most of the time. However, when she visits our home, I notice that she goes through my drawers in the bedroom looking for a charger or something. I find it a bit invasive and embarrassing, especially when she opens the wrong drawer that would have personal items, like lingerie, and then goes on to complain about how uncomfortable it is for her every single time. We've gone back and forth on this, and I started to say that she's in the wrong for even looking at personal stuff, and she got confused and didn't know what drawer had the item that she was looking for. Dear husband suggested that I should just bring her whatever she needs instead of having her go inside and look for herself, but she never asks. So I decided to label my drawers, meaning that I would put a sign on every single drawer to eliminate dear mother-in-law's confusion. For example, I put sock sign on the sock drawer, lingerie sign on the lingerie, and underwear, etc., electronics, makeup, you get the idea. The next time mother-in-law visited, she walked into the bedroom looking for something while I was in the kitchen cooking. Minutes later, she came in with my husband asking about the signs that I had on each of the drawers. I told her that I just labeled each drawer to end her confusion and help her find what she's looking for quickly. She looked offended and said that she was neither a small child nor stupid to be treated like this. I said that I was really trying to help and also trying to prevent her from seeing stuff that upset her in the past. She even got madder and kept arguing and then left to stay at my brother-in-law's house. Brother-in-law called and berated both dear husband and I, and then dear husband lashed out saying that I caused this mess and I need to apologize. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
No, your husband needs to stop his mom from snooping.
What is wrong with your in-laws? Like, and what's wrong with your husband? He's blaming you. He's like, well, why don't you just go get her whatever she's looking for? She doesn't even ask. How are you supposed to get her stuff if she's not asking? She's clearly snooping.
Why doesn't he get the stuff? This is his mother.
Because she's doing it explicitly to snoop.
Yeah.
So she's not doing this because she's dumb or anything like that.
Yeah.
The signs now just take away her ability to snoop, and now she knows that she can't just be outraged and confused and stuff like that about this. It's like she's looking for something. I don't know what she's looking for, but she's looking for
I
something.
think she just wants to shame OP for having lingerie. Is what it
Yeah,
sounds
I
like.
mean, who knows what her weird reasons for doing this are. Maybe she just wants to guilt trip OP for one reason or another. Classic manipulation tactics, make and belittle OP for one reason or another. But OP, you're not the jerk in this situation, and I would really reevaluate a lot of stuff in this relationship because this does not sound good or healthy. And the fact of the matter is that your mother-in-law, she kept going through the wrong drawers, so she knows that you have grounds for doing something like this. You did a very nice gesture assuming that she was confused, but she wasn't confused. She knows better, and she's doing this because she can, plain and simple. And your husband's I don't know, maybe I'll have to beep that out.
Your husband stinks.
Your husband stinks. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Now the jerk, she feigned confusion to excuse her snooping. You believed and accommodated her. She's mad because you believed her lies and took her excuses away. And made her look like an idiot. Win-win. I had a horrible thought that she's not just snooping, and I'm wondering if OP uses protection, or at least mother-in-law thinks they do, and has been looking for them because she wants grandchildren. I know that's a massive leap, but that's where my brain went. I mean, that's a good point. Now she's turned herself into the victim by saying you did this to insult her intelligence. Your mother-in-law is a great manipulator. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I have my beverage of choice here, and I will allow you to guess which it is.
I have mint tea.
Amber clearly has mint tea. I have a super silly joke book, one that is gifted to me very recently.
Regifted to you.
Regifted. What is sold by the yard and worn by the foot? A carpet. That's actually pretty good. That is definitely a riddle of sorts. All right, and I have Mega Mint tea. All right, our next letter is titled, Am I the jerk for saying that I will call campus authorities if my friend doesn't give me back my dress? Every time there's a formal at my school, I'm a 19-year-old female, which is pretty often. This girl, a 19-year-old female, also, who I thought was my friend, asks to borrow one of my formal dresses since she doesn't have any. And since the girls try to avoid repeating the same dresses within a semester, she has borrowed like 7 dresses from me. Every time she borrows one, I have to have it dry cleaned, which is about $25 regularly, but because the dresses are considered high-end delicates, it's $50 each time. I thought we were friends, and I've loaned her evening gowns many times for formals she otherwise wouldn't be able to attend. She literally was sobbing on the phone the first time and realized that she didn't have a dress that she felt comfortable wearing. The last dress she borrowed from me was one of my nicer dresses, and it was for one of the most formal galas at our school that they throw each year. I asked for it back right after, and she left me on red for 2 weeks and kept ignoring my texts. I eventually showed up at her dorm to get the dress back, which she said she was waiting to throw into the washer since she was going to wash it for me. I was like, you can't wash a formal dress, it's made out of formal material. That would totally destroy it. She apparently had no clue. I said that I would be back for it, and she left me on red for another 2 weeks as I texted her and potentially ignored me until I showed up again at her door. So this has been a month in. She pretended not to hear me. I texted her roommate to have her roommate open the door for me. I said I want my dress back right now. Then she actually said to me, "What are you doing here? You're trespassing on my property. This is my dorm room and it's private residence, and you're threatening me with your crazy energy." I said I will call the campus authorities if she doesn't get my dress for me right now. Keeping it from me is stealing my property, and she yelled at me, "Oh, so now I'm a thief. How dare you disrespect me in my home?" I said, "You are certainly a thief, and you owe me $690 if you don't get my dress back right now. I will contact the authorities." She said, "Well, I've misplaced it in my room somewhere, and I don't have time to search. So go away." Her dorm is like 3 feet wide. It's literally impossible to lose my dress. I said I will call the campus police and report a theft, and I will tell everyone at our school on my Instagram story what she did, and she says that I'm a liar and a gaslighter, and I've made her feel unsafe in her residence by demanding what is mine. She said that her roommate says that I'm a gaslighter too, and I don't even know her roommate. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk, but you need to call someone ASAP. Like,
No good deed goes unpunished is kind of the phrase that I think applies here. And that's not, I mean, that of course is just an expression, but here we have a classic case of OP did a very nice thing. They gave an inch and their quote friend took a mile. And I understand that their friend is probably frustrated. They don't have a lot of nice things, but just because you don't have nice things doesn't mean that you can steal from someone. And I think that's the biggest problem here is that their friend has taken this piece of property that belongs to them and isn't giving it back. OP, you have every right in order to get your property back, and I think that this is just her being, ridiculous, and she needs to give you your property back, plain and simple. I would advise, making sure that you keep a record of all your, conversations and whatnot. And if you have any place where she asked to borrow the dress, make sure that you have those kind of records. That way, if this ever turns into some kind of legal issue, you actually have proof of ownership of the dress and, the conversations that you had. So just keep that in mind. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk, obviously. Get the authorities involved and be prepared that your dress doesn't exist anymore. Or isn't wearable anymore, stained, ripped, damaged. OP, not the jerk. I mean, it could be that something, devastating happened to the dress and her friend was too embarrassed to admit it and was trying to, hope that OP would eventually forget about it or whatnot. But even if we give them the benefit of the doubt, this was still like the worst way of handling this situation. If you decide to go to the police, have a receipt for the dress. I'm guessing that it was purchased on a credit card, so have a photocopy of it with you, with sensitive info blacked out. Also, bring a photo of you in the dress and a picture of the dress from a website. Copy all the text messages and calls. Check her social media to see if there are any photos of her wearing the dress and screenshot it today before she blocks you. If she blocks you, have a close friend do this with you. You may want to write down the exactly what happened in your version before you go to the police so that when you talk to them, you have a clear account of what happened. I'm sorry, but it's likely that she either ruined the dress or sold it. It's nearly the end of the term, so she's probably hoping that you all just go home in a couple weeks and she'll never talk to you or hear from you again. You may need to sue her in small claims court. Consider doing this if you have evidence, receipt, photos, text calls proving she borrowed it. Once she gets a court summons, she will be willing to pay you. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. And if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.